At 2:50 p.m. Pacific time, wartime retail was nice enough to post. FNGR just filed to withdraw its S1 and confirm no shares were ever sold under the S1. Let's go ahead and go over that document because the price action may be showing a type of overreaction. Now, if that's the case, are we looking for a recovery tomorrow? Let's go ahead and validate now. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. This is ARCa coming at you with an FNGR technicals, raw price action, and statistical thread of analysis on this Taco Tuesday. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community in Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's dive right into the charts. Okay, team, so we are looking at FNGR here on the hourly chart. But before we do that, let's go ahead and go over that document. And I've actually put it into layman's terms so that we can all understand exactly what that means, right? So let me go ahead and pull up the vertical screen that I have here next to me, right? So I know that it's going to be a little hard to read it there, right, team? So what I am going to do here is, in fact, show you that I did explain this briefly in the Discord, right? So let's go ahead and just go over that now, right? So what I ended up posting here was a brief explanation over what's being said on that document. I should be able to have the link in the description below. Okay, team. So let's just go ahead and look at this. So the document, let's see. So the document you linked in the request from Fngr Motion Inc. to the SEC to withdraw their registration statement from on Form S1. This is the document that companies file with the SEC when they want to sell securities to the public. In this case, Fngr Motion was planning to sell shares of their stock to the public, but they have decided not to proceed with the offering. You can read the rest of it for yourself, but what I wanted to point out, just first and foremost, right, is that if you see right at the bottom, the last line, this actually means no dilution. So that means that there could have been an overreaction in the markets, okay, regarding this. So I do assume that they released this at 11:30 p.m. Eastern time, which would be 2:30 p.m. Pacific time, to avoid any extra, I don't know exactly what time it was released, right? But I'm just telling you this based on what I read. So to avoid any type of market overreactions, right? But still, of course, we ended up getting a massive overreaction here on ticker symbol FNGR. So let's go ahead and just look at the price action, because there has been, there has been quite the recovery since that point. Okay, so we're currently sitting post-market $5.62 after reaching a low of about $5.15 here on the hourly chart. Please notice that we bounced right off of the SMA 50 on the hourly chart. Okay, team, so if you are curious over just how big of a bounce that can be, take a look at this. Let's measure it from there to the current price. You're looking at about that's about a 9% jump from the bottom side. So very, very impressive jump. It shows that the bulls absolutely have interest in this still. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and just pull up here a larger time frame to see just how we're sitting with the DBSI indicator. If you just notice in the ad at the beginning, that is actually the ARQ algorithms that we just released. Please go ahead and get in touch with us on that email, and we'll go ahead and get you situated. But this is one of them. This is the ARC DBSI. What you're looking at here is a statistical indicator that displays the strength and relative to the current price action, right? So it takes a metric from every single candle printed throughout the entire trading history of the asset in this time frame, or whatever time frame you choose, and it displays that relative strength right up here for you, right? So you can see clearly on the 4-hour chart, we have the bulls leading the way with an 89%, despite the fact that we came all the way back down to that 515. So this is still looking pretty good for the bulls, team. Let's go ahead and just refer to one more of the ARQ indicators here. So this is Armor. This is the one that everybody speaks about, right? This has that magic sauce for the long and short signals, right? So please notice down here, the 6-hour chart, we still have the long signal printed down here, and we even with that sharp decline to 515. Sorry, wow. Even with that sharp decline to 515, we are still looking pretty bullish, and there is no short signal printed currently, right? So that's looking absolutely powerful for the asset. I'm absolutely liking what we're seeing here. Okay, team. So let's go ahead and move on to the next chart and see what else we have in store. Okay, team. So this is the bi-weekly chart. Why are we pointing this out? We have the silver cross happening here, team. I'm just going to keep it as a thing to remind you, right? So that you can remember that you're hearing it here first, right? So that SMA, I'm sorry, that EMA 21 crossing upside of the EMA 55 is considered to be a silver cross, and it's very bullish. Okay, team, I expect this to happen within maybe the next week or the following week. But regarding moving average crossovers, let's just go ahead and dive into the daily chart so that we can keep up with what's happening with the golden cross. Please take a look at this, team. We have the daily time frame SMA 50 about to cross the SMA 200. I suspect that there could be some pretty nice price action coming in the following days. Okay, team. So this is pretty powerful. Whenever you have the shorter time frame period, moving average cross above the longer term time frame period, that is usually a bullish signal. And this is a widely known, historically known moving average crossover that is looked at, okay, team, especially on this time frame, on the daily time frame. Of course, you can use it in any other time frame, but it's sought after in the daily time frame, okay, as it marks off a potential beginning or continuation of a bull cycle. Okay, team, so let's go ahead and move on to the next chart and see what else we have in store for us. Okay, so I wanted to touch on the resistance that we faced today. Okay, team, and I think I do have that right over here, right? So what I wanted to talk to you about was that particularly we had a minimum area to reach today of $6.18 to $6.30 at the top side of the resistance. The upper bound of the resistance that we were looking for was actually consistent to what I believe to be, let me see if I still have it here, right? It was in the bi-monthly, or it could have been, yeah, here we go. This is the actually I presented it to you on a bi-weekly with a Gaussian band. There we go. And let's get rid of armor. There we go. Okay, so yeah, this would be the overall range of resistance that we're looking for, right? 646 to 717 with a focus on 683. Okay, so that was the more of a macro look on the upside. I mean, I thought that we could have faced it today. But I mean, we got close enough, right? We ended up reaching about $6.18. So if you are kind of like, wait, didn't you just say 618? I definitely did. This was absolutely the minimum resistance that we faced today, right? So you can actually hover over this candle here, and in the OHLC values, which is the open, high, low, close, that'll tell you that you have a high of 618. So we were pretty, we did pretty okay, right, with guessing that upside, although we still were expecting some further upside continuation. 3-hour time frame, SMA 10 coming up as a resistance level, and that would be, this is a newly drawn resistance range, right, based on the sell-off that happened. So that has a resistance range of $5.58 to about $5.70. We have to combat this in order for us to continue to the upside, okay? So, but yeah, exactly like what I'm saying, team. I think that the markets overreacted in the release of that form, as it is, in fact, good news. It's telling us that there is no dilution, so there's really nothing to kind of complain about here. So I think that it was just a quick little fear run, or whatever reason to kind of just influence the stock to the downside, if you want to call that manipulation, sure, right? So I'm just kind of stating out the facts here. So currently, post-market, FNGR sitting at $5.62, and guess where that is, team? That is absolutely right upside of the Gaussian band bi-monthly top. Okay, so that's sitting as now a potential support yet again. So this retracement, by the way, I did mention that we could come back to the area of about 540, 542, or even 545, right, before a continuation to the upside. But I did not mention the 515 retracement. Okay, so what you're looking at here is still, this can still count as a validator or a continuation to find this newly converted resistance of the Gaussian band top as a support before a continuation onto the upside. Okay, team, so looking beyond the 717, 713 to 805 is the next area of resistance. Okay, so we're just going to keep in line and keep track of all of these resistance points. So now I want to move on here to the last part of the analysis, and this is going to be the RSI, because there is something very critically important to look at here on the 6-hour, the daily, and the 3-day. Okay, so let's just start off with the hourly time frame first. Okay, so even the 30-minute, right? So yeah, we're looking at a potential resistance here, and that is familiar to you because we just spoke of it, right? Hourly resistance as well. And if we can just go back to our chart here on the 3-hour, it is familiar to you because the SMA 10 we just spoke of. We could be facing a little bit of resistance here at about that 570 where the SMA 10 is located, and this is also our discretionary resistance range. Okay, team, so that's the RSI is actually giving us some validity to that move, right? So it is now also, it can be looked at as a short-term downside. So let's go ahead and continue on the analysis here. By hourly time frame suggesting an upside still, we do have that SMA 14 as resistance, but as we move higher, this SMA 14 does have the potential to reach the gravitational zone of the bull strength, which would indicate a potential succession upside of it, since the RSI signal would move on and onwards and upwards here to that gravitational zone and essentially get pulled to the upside, thus succeeding the SMA 14 pink line. Okay, team. Now the 6-hour time frame. What I wanted to point out here is that this is actually facing to the upside, and it's in the gravitational zone and making a bullish cross upside of the SMA 14, which gives it a higher probability for a continuation to the upside overall, right? So if this is the case to where we can face just a short-term downside, then that would be immediate short-term downside, followed by a support touch and a bounce, which means that this would essentially continue on to the upside. I'm talking about this as the bi-hourly, right? And reach this the gravitational zone and get pulled to the upside, thus succeeding the 6-hour time frame suggestion of an upside pivot. We also have an upside pivot here on the 12-hour time frame. It's also in the gravitational zone. Upside pivot with the SMA 14 looking good. Okay, and this right over here, what you're looking at is a very critical support, right? So the SMA 14, which is the 14-day simple moving average, which is very common in the trade, especially within momentum indicators like the RSI, Relative Strength Index, right? And also the stochastic momentum indicator that we look at often. It is comprised of the EMA3, which is the exponential moving average 3-period or 3-day closing, right? Meaning that you would close a candle in the 3-day period. Okay, so that average is, that's kind of how it's evaluated, right? So just to put it in a very simple term, because there's actual math to that. Okay, team. So yeah, this is suggesting a potential bounce from the SMA 14 in the gravitational zone of the bull weakness percentile. Okay, so the inner workings here of an RSI, these are weakness percentiles. Okay, and the outer workings, that's the strength for bull strength, and this is the strength for bear strength. But otherwise, you can always consider the upper half of the RSI to be the bullish control zone and the lower half to be the bearish control zone. Okay, team. So now, and what's giving us the final little touch that this may be a validated support before a continuation onto the upside is in fact the 3-day time frame. Take a look at this 3-day time frame about to touch the border where the SMA 14 is located. So the SMA 14 would essentially serve as a gravitational zone or bounce for this RSI signal to continue on to the upside. So my bias here for FNGR is still bullish, and it's still actually, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna give way to that. I do still see us as pretty highly bullish. Okay, team. So, yeah, but that's essentially what I'm looking at here for FNGR, team. So please, right, what I was going to say is just please remember, not to take any of this information that I'm displaying here as any type of any financial advice. Just take it as a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. Okay, team, I need you to do your own due diligence and everything will be cool. But with that said, I wish you well, a very good night, and I'll catch you at the bell mañana. Adios, team.